poorer pupils missing out on essential financial education, according to new research that's been commissioned by the National Citizenship Service. They asked 3,500 teachers across England, and the two standout headlines for me were, firstly, that an awful lot of children didn't know how to handle their money, whether they had lots of it or little of it. And secondly, a large number of teachers said that they themselves didn't feel qualified to teach children how to handle their money. And was it right that it should be in the national curriculum, or was it not? I'm delighted to be joined now by Stephen Douglas, who is the School Engagement Manager at the NCS Trust. Stephen, give me 10-second take on the NCS Trust. Are you a mixture of academies and free schools, or what?
Good morning, Alastair. NCS is a government-backed programme that is open to all 15 to 17-year-olds across England and Northern Ireland.
Whether they go to state schools or private schools?
Every young person.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify, because I know some organisations make that distinction. And NCS, that's the thing that David Cameron was so keen on and helped support, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, right. It's very important that people know where you're coming from before we start asking the questions. So first and foremost, let me turn it on its head. Were you surprised that so many of those 3,500 teachers that you spoke to put their hands up and said, you know, we're not sure that we're fully qualified to be doing this work, however important it might be?
Not at all. Before I worked for NCS, I was a school teacher and a school leader in various different schools across London, and I've seen what it's like to try to build financial literacy into a curriculum, try to build it into a school. It's difficult to find space in the curriculum. It's difficult sometimes to be able to present that in a way that's going to resonate with young people. So no, I'm not surprised at all that so many of the teachers that we surveyed were honest about saying that it's a struggle.
I found that, yes, you're absolutely right, refreshing that they put their hands up, whatever you make of the fact that perhaps they don't learn about it when they're doing their BEds or their PGCEs or whatever it might be. But the second point, you said there that you're a former school leader, a former head yourself. Is the national curriculum the right place to be putting bean counting? I mean, national curriculum surely is about reading, writing, arithmetic, the basics that you need to have to go out into the world educationally. With money, isn't that mum, dad, family?
Partly. So at the moment, the national curriculum includes financial literacy as part of the maths curriculum and as part of the citizenship curriculum, and I completely agree that they should be there. Seeing how your math skills can be used in a real-life context, seeing how your role as a citizen in the country depends on you being aware of the financial situation of...
But then would you expect that Ofsted, we've been talking quite a lot over the last couple of days about regulators, whether it's people who regulate football or regulate schools, but Ofsted, which is the school regulator, surely if they see this survey, then should they not be going to schools and saying, look, the basics of financial literacy is a part of the national curriculum? I didn't know that, and thanks for putting me straight on that, Stephen. But if your survey finds that they're not getting it, particularly in poorer performing schools, in poorer financial areas, then Ofsted should be reading the Riot Act to these teachers, should it not?
Not necessarily. So I think schools are putting it in. Our research from teachers focused more on the fact that the teachers were confident in being able to present it in a way that was going to resonate with young people. So at NCS, we've worked with various different organisations around the country, including MyBnk, to try to put together some sort of top 10 tips that teachers can embed in what they do, but also that parents and carers can also embed, so that this is something that young people can hear this message about financial responsibility from all the adults they interact with.
Interesting you mentioned your partners there with the MyBnk people, because the other thing that struck me in reading this report was that I am of a certain age, and I suspect you are as well, Stephen, perhaps not quite as old as me, but there we go. When we were seeking to become financially literate, either as we left school or going through university, whatever it might be, we will remember quite nerve-wracking conversations with bank managers, with mortgage lenders, with all sorts of people, and even the occasional shouty letter from a credit card company saying, you're going a bit close to your limit, or what have you. Nowadays, my children, I don't think any of them have met a bank manager. My daughter did mortgage application online with somebody who struck her as having virtually no authority whatsoever, merely capable of filling forms in and asking her how much she spent on coffee each week. And the only correspondence that young people these days get from credit card companies is to say, have another credit card and have a bigger credit limit. I mean, that's part of the nightmare, isn't it?
Partly, but I think one of the things that we're very keen to give to young people is to empower them to make their own decisions. As you said, there's so many options out there that young people can get themselves into bad financial habits. So we're very keen with our financial guidance that we're giving young people, and available for teachers and parents as well.
Would you, when you were a school leader ahead, would you have liked to have a bank manager coming in to talk to the kids?
Partly. I think it would have been useful for young people to see what sensible financial management looks like. But I also worked with lots of young people who were from backgrounds where money was a real stress.
Absolutely.
And having someone from a bank manager coming in might not be the way to get them to take on board some of the useful advice.
Yeah, yeah. Great teachers are a rarity, and those that can do all of it are truly miraculous people, and I'm sure you came across many of them in the survey as well, Stephen. Good of you to find time for us today, and thank you very much indeed, and good luck with the survey, because I know you haven't just done it to say, oh, look, there we are, there's a few facts, but to take to the Department for Education, to take to Ofsted, and to take to other school leaders as well. That's Stephen Douglas, the School Engagement Manager at the National Citizenship Service, with their report on financial literacy and how we might help our children handle however much money they've got, be it a lot or be it a little, better in their own interests. After the